welcome back to Speedromizer 9, everyone. We have just finished setting up for the next run, which I mentioned before, SIGNALIS. It's gonna be absolutely amazing, so let's take it away.
Alright, thanks to Yu-Gi-Oh! Hello everyone. I'm Nupali, my pronouns are he, him, and I'll be running SIGNALIS today. Just a quick warning, there are flashing lights in the game. At some points there are a few rooms with this visual effect that does not quite make the whole screen flash altogether, but there are a lot of busy blinking elements and makes for this very messy staticky effect. I'll try to give a warning every time that happens, but I might only remember at the last second. I'm not too used to doing commentary while speedrunning, and I've been practicing that the last few days, so hopefully that goes well. And I guess we can just start the run now. Should I count down? Yeah, let's go. 3, 2, 1, go. Sorry, I messed that up. And we're in a spaceship called the Penrose. We're in space. And we play as Elster, an android. I'm not super familiar with the lore of this game. I watched a couple of videos about it, but it's pretty cryptic and it kind of went over my head, so I'm gonna try my best to contextualize some of the in-world elements, but I'm not gonna be able to tell you too much about what's happening, really. Oh, I accidentally said no to that text box. So we are an android. Androids in this world are called replicas, and they're made out of human memories. Like, they are robots with some actual people's memory in them. I'm not sure how that works. I'm not sure what the reason for that is, honestly, but we'll just go with it, I guess. So we're gonna jump around a little bit throughout the run to very different areas. We were on the spaceship and we're now on this frozen planet, and we're gonna go into Sierpinski, which is the next area, the space station. This is a retro survival horror game, and as such it is very much inspired by the Resident Evil and the Silent Hill series. You're probably gonna see a lot of references to those earlier titles. So whenever you don't see me skipping cutscenes, that's just because I cannot skip them. Otherwise, believe me, I would. What's interesting with the aesthetic of this game is that although it is mostly this 2D top-down view most of the time, we do have those 3D first-person scenes as well. And here we just picked up the book, The King in Yellow. Quite a direct reference to that book, I guess. I'm not sure how the book ties into the lore of the game, honestly, but yeah, it's there. Here you can see this propaganda poster we just ran by with the number 6 on it, and it tells us about how there's the rule of 6, about how we cannot carry more than 6 items on our person at any given time, because personal property is a privilege in this world. And so that's the justification. Oh, didn't click that properly. There's the justification for our limited inventory. We only have 6 slots in our inventory to carry items. Thankfully, we're not going to engage with combat until the very end of the run, so we don't really have to worry about carrying a bunch of guns and ammo. We mostly will worry about key items. Now, you might have seen me do this weird movement where I'm going away from the door and then going into it again. That's called a door wiggle. And I'll be doing that every time I'm unlocking a door, because every time you unlock a door, there's this little delay until you can interact with it again. And for some reason, turning around makes this delay shorter. It allows you to interact sooner with the doorway. A lot of the gameplay of this run is going to be just picking up a lot of key items in order to unlock the next room, to pick up the next key item, to unlock the next room, to pick up the next key item. But thankfully we have a bunch of tricks to make that a little bit faster along the way. Gonna go and try to solve this randomized lockpicking puzzle here. Need to read the positions of these pins correctly. Looks like I did. Good job, me. So you have to eyeball how high or how low the pins are there. They can be in several positions and really a clear visual cue, so you kind of just have to learn to see that properly, I guess. Alright, I need to start talking about buffering. That's the main trick of the game and of the run, and it's just very, very versatile, so we're going to be using it all over. I'm going to do a door buffer, hopefully, and then from there I'm going to do a slingshot. Let's try that. Right, so I was able to pick up the item while also getting teleported into the next room, and also I was just walking through collision there. What was happening? So you can just interact, you can just buffer every interaction in this game with a menu. We're gonna use the map menu, and basically it goes like this. You open your map menu while standing in front of the object you want to interact with, and then you quickly close the map menu, interact, and open the map menu again. And if you do this correctly, you will be in the middle of an interaction, but also you'll have the menu open. Which means that if you close the menu, then you regain control of your character, which you normally could not do in the middle of an interaction. That allows us to do all sorts of shenanigans. This guy got me. And the slingshot that I did here is part of that. I did a door buffer, which means I was able to move around while I was also leaving the room at the same time. And also every time you enter a door, you have a few seconds of a no clip, which means you can ignore collisions every time you enter a door. And that's why I was able to walk through collision right there. So you can use door buffers to clip out of bounds. You can use them to take a straighter path through certain rooms by walking through collision like I did. And they also have many other properties that we'll see later in the run. And here we're gonna go and wrong menu. Pick up the radio. The radio is a very important part of this game. It will actually allow us to tune into certain frequencies so we can learn about certain randomized combinations to open certain safes. There's even a whole ending of this game that you can get by tinkering with the radio and finding some secrets with it. We're not going to do that here. This is the memory ending run, and the memory ending is pretty much the most straightforward endings you can get in this game, I think. That's the one I got the first time I played through the game. And you can tune that radio as you're walking around, so I'm not too good at doing that, but trying to get the frequency we need for the next save. Here we go. Let's look at it. You can actually just listen to the Morse code if you know Morse code 41896. Alright. So being proficient in Morse code actually can save you a few seconds in this run. And now we're gonna do a door warp, so if I can do this. Oh, let's try again. I'm not too good with this menuing, but here you go. Alright, so we started doing a door buffer, which means we have control of our character as we're leaving the room, but the game will take control of our character again when we're entering the next room. And so that's why we have to open our map again in order to regain control of our character as we're entering the room. Otherwise we would automatically walk into the next room. But because we don't have to do that... Sorry, I need to focus here. 6, 5, 8, 4, 6. Can we remember that? 6, 5, 8, 4, 6. Okay. 6, 5, 8, 4, 6. Tune to the next frequency we need. 6, 5, 8, 4, 6. So door warps that I was trying to explain right then. You regain control of your character as you're entering the room, which means you don't have to walk into the room and you can just stand there and stay out of bounds. And after a couple of seconds, the game will detect that you're out of bounds and it will put you back in bounds in the default location. It's like a mini wrong warp of sorts. And obviously it's not useful in every room because it depends on the default location of that room, but as you saw, it was pretty useful for that hallway because we started all the way at the top and we got teleported all the way at the bottom. Alright, we're ignoring that item for now because of inventory management. We'll come back to pick it up later. Can I get you out of the way without getting hit? Nice. Alright, let's try to do... Oh, well, I guess I'm not gonna go for it. I was trying to do another slingshot there to pick up that item, but... the thing with all those optimizations, they don't save that much time, and so... if you're like me, if you're just a little bit slow with your menuing, and you don't get it first try, then you're already losing time. So if you look at a top run for this game, you're gonna see a lot more of these around. I might have been too far. God damn it, I was too far. Okay. So the further off center, I was not far enough, sorry. Oh, I'm not facing. Alright, we should be good now. So the further off center you are, the longer the room transition takes. So when you do a slingshot to pick up an item that's really far away from you, you actually want to stand on the side of the door as much as possible to give you more time. So that's why you're seeing me take a couple steps away from the door every time I'm doing a slingshot. And now I'm gonna do a buffer on this item that will trigger a cutscene, so it's gonna allow us to... I mean, let's just show it. I'm kind of walking blind here, so I need to focus. Oh, we got it. Nice. So basically, I triggered that cutscene while also opening a door, which means I was able to walk through this hallway while the cutscene was happening, and I was able to make it into the next room. Let's see if I can remember this code. It was 6, 5, 8, 4, 6. Oof. Alright. So this keypad is also scrambled up. The digits are not where they're supposed to be, so... Oh, god damn it. So you have to actually time the second part of the menuing when you're doing a door warp. You have to get the first part, and let's see if we can get this one. Alright. We got this one at least. So you do have to look at the door and see when it's closing, and then open the map at the right time in order for you to get the warp. Hopefully I'm making sense. There's a lot happening.
Do we have time for some quick messages?
Sure. Let's go.
Yes, absolutely. I would just like to remind everyone that whilst donating for an amazing charity, you do also have some really cool incentives that you can put your donation towards. So I mentioned Duck Life 2 cosplay. That one's really cool. There's another run later tonight, which actually has 2 incentives. It's the Donald Duck run. It has a goal to listen to the end credits, which is about halfway right now, and there is a bid war to choose the second opening job, and currently Find the Missing Chicks is in the lead with only $1, so with $1.10 you can make a difference. Anyway, back to you.
Right, that's awesome. So we just picked up the flares, which is the most overpowered weapon of the game. We're going to use it to one-shot the first 2 bosses. You're gonna see that in a minute. We just need to pick up all the special key cards for this section of the game, and then we're gonna be able to open that big door that we keep passing by, this one right there. Gonna pick up the second part of this wrench. Combine that to make room in our inventory, so now we can go and pick up that item that we passed by earlier. It is actually nice how little inventory management you have to do in this run. It's all just very well routed. Trying to think about things I might have forgotten to mention. I guess I didn't talk about the full name of the run, so it's casual. Memory ending casual is the difficulty. We're playing on the easiest difficulty. Oh. Sorry about that. Alright, just a few more tries and then I'll give up on this. Alright, I guess muscle memory is just not happening right now. Sorry about that. It's been pretty inconsistent for me. It comes and goes. I was practicing earlier and it was almost the first try every time. Hopefully with the nerves it's a little bit harder to hit this combo of keys in the right way. Never mind that. We're gonna go on to fight the first boss, and hopefully I can get the fast kill on that. There's a specific timing. It's quite a tight window, so let's see if we can hit that. Oh, perfect. Okay, that's awesome. So we got the fast kill, and we also got the cutscene skip. Well, the death animation skip. Normally you have to watch the boss die for a pretty long time. And for some reason, if you have this specific timing and positioning, you can actually go directly into the cutscene. That's really nice that we got that. And we're now moving on to the next area of the game. I think we're still in the same space station, but just on a different level. I really like, I don't know if you've noticed, I really like this almost like a vine boom effect every time you pick up an item. It's really helpful because it's actually pretty easy to accidentally, if you're getting ahead of yourself, as you might do in a speedrun, it's pretty easy to accidentally hit the up and down arrow, and you end up clicking on no instead of yes, and then you just don't pick up your item. And then if you don't realize you haven't picked it up, that's pretty bad. You can lose a lot of time just backtracking, and then if you have to pick up items in a certain order because of inventory management, then you have to do an extra trip to deposit an item. Alright, sorry about that. Alright, so here we have another example of how you can walk through collision with the door buffer. And in true horror game fashion, we picked up a fuse, and I guess it's a very typical horror game puzzle that we go and replace a fuse on some circuit board in order to reestablish current. Need to do a little bit of math there, but I don't have to think about it because it's always the same solution. And now the lift back on the 7th floor is actually working. We're going to be able to take it to go to the 8th floor. And we're going to see another property of door buffers. There are, in this game, there are dark environments. There are rooms that are not properly lit. And any object that is not next to a source of light we cannot interact with unless we can. So normally I should not be able to interact with that door without the flashlight, but we don't want to pick up the flashlight because that's slow, it takes an inventory slot, so we're gonna be skipping the flashlight for the entire run. But thankfully, when you do a door buffer, you actually keep the light level that you were in when you were buffering the door. So if the doorway is lit, then you can just interact with any other item thanks to that light level being stored when you do the buffer. So that's what happened there. Yeah, you have to get used to that scream. You're gonna hear it a lot. Warning, flashing visuals. I only forgot at the last moment, only remembered at the last moment. And I'm not seeing my cursor. Yeah, it can get really bad. Sorry about that. Gonna try to do a better job at remembering to call out for that. So we see in the background all these like broken androids that are the same model of us. So it's actually possible that we're not really playing the whole game as the same android, that is just different androids of the same model, which is why we might be skipping around many different places without necessarily having a clear connection between them. And here we're going to do another dark room navigation thanks to the door buffer. Into a door warp because it's a pain to navigate this room in complete darkness. And how about listening to some music? We're gonna do just that right now. It's gonna be a little bit soothing in that environment. A bit of classical music will do just fine for us. Oh. So if you see that character lying on the bed there, they're quite important. We're gonna see them again before the end. I'm gonna leave the music on. It's not useful, and it actually attracts the attention of enemies, but we can deal with that. That was a really bad, unlucky position there. And we're gonna pass by the flashlight, this little shining item over there that we're decidedly not picking up. Taking advantage here of some missing collision on a vertical seam of pixel, which allows us to pick up the key card that's behind without having to open the safe. Let's avoid that guy. No more music for us. And we're heading right into the mines. Getting a good shot at our character there, who's called Elster. I guess the model of our character is called that. I take that time to tune in the radio for later. I guess if there's anything to announce or read, that could be a good time now.
Yes, absolutely. I do like talking about everything and anything related to this event. Actually, while we were listening to some really comfy music, and while we're enjoying this beautiful Signalis run, I would just like to remind you who we're raising money for. We are raising money for QMUNITY. And QMUNITY, they have been built by and for queer, trans, and two-spirit communities since 1979. Today, their leadership continues to create and build an organization that supports everyone within two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, myself included, transgender, queer, intersexual, and asexual communities across British Columbia through support, connection, and leadership. So yes, once again, all of your monies are going to what did I say there? All of your donations are going to a fantastic cause. And let's see if we can get 200 maybe before the end of the run. Anyway, back to you.
Alright, we're doing an out of bound, an extended out of bound. It starts just like a door warp, but since we don't want to be warped back inbounds, we keep opening the map menu so we can just refresh the timer that the game is using to put us back inbound. So we were able to walk all the way to that doorway and skipping like a fairly slow elevator section. And now we just have to wait around for this to open up, and I'm gonna try and get the enemies to follow a specific path so I don't get hit during this section. Alright. Take the time to pick up a healing item for later. And we're just gonna jump down another hole. There's a lot of that in this game. We just keep going down, and yet again, here we go.
Was that a boss enemy I saw earlier?
Oh yeah, it was a repeat of the boss enemy, the first boss that we saw. And here we are in another of these first-person scenes. And there's not much we can do here. We're on a 2-minute timer. And we just have to wait for this timer in order for the game to progress. I'm gonna try and go out of bound, because it's just something to do. I can just climb this cliffside right there. Here we go. So we're gonna be coming back to this area later, but right now it's just this very desolate beach with a lot of torn pages laying around on the sand. A lot of them having quotes from The King in Yellow. Again, this game has a lot of references to The King in Yellow, but not sure what it's all about, really. I guess The King in Yellow portrays itself as a forbidden book, and this game does deal with themes of totalitarianism. I think the setting is somewhat inspired by East Germany during the Cold War. So there might be something about that, the idea of forbidden books and such. I don't know if we're gonna have time to see what's behind this cliff. We might barely just have time. It's not much, really. It's just nice. I just love going out of bounds in games. Something about it. Like you're not supposed to be there, so it's just fun to go there for the sake of it. Alright, and now we're gonna get to nowhere. That's the name of this area. I guess you can feel the Silent Hill influences again. I'm gonna see if I can skip that. Alright. It's just a small thing, but you can skip opening those iron grates in front of the door by stepping into them at a specific angle. Alright, got that. So we just picked up an item in a dark room, so we did a slingshot to get teleported back out. We also got a door warp out of it at the same time. I forgot to say there are flashing lights here, so again, warning, flashing visuals, and we're gonna be out of them now. Turning off that radio. It's not very pleasant to listen to. And we're gonna be looking at the second boss. We're gonna dispatch them the same way we dispatched the first one. We're not gonna get to skip the death animation of the cutscene, but it's still gonna be pretty short. And boss is down. Could work us.
Ooh, that was fast. That was fast.
Yeah, the flares are just very overpowered. That's the only weapon we need for the entire game, except the final boss. And I'm gonna try to skip this grate as well. Didn't get it. It's fine. And we're gonna go and do the doll skip. So there's this big contraption that blocks our way every time we pick up this item. So what we're going to do is we're going to buffer the item, and the game has frozen, and that is problematic. I'm going to close and reopen it. It just does that sometime. Sorry about that. Luckily, I have prepared a bunch of save files, and we're right there. We're right at the start of the save file right now, so that's, you know, not the worst crash we could get.
Just a small little technical hiccup. It always happens.
Yeah,
You just
this
never
game
know when.
does not autosave, so it is very concerning when it crashes. This should be our third save file right there. Yep. And I guess this time we skip the iron grate just to showcase that. And I guess I'll try not to menu too quickly. Honestly, I'm not too sure. what happened there. All right, we're good. So that's a pretty nice skip because normally you need to have an equally weighted object whenever you pick this up. Otherwise, you are stuck in the room. And so the intended solution is to go around and pick up all those Russian dolls and then combine them together to use that on the pressure plate. So that takes quite a bit of time, so it's really nice that we can just buffer that interaction, and then we can just take the item at the same time we're leaving the room so we don't get trapped in it. Gonna use our healing items from earlier. We're taking a bit of damage there, but it's intentional, so we can navigate this room a little bit faster. Can we get past them? Yeah. All right. Since we're on casual difficulty, it's not too concerning if we get hit, but if we get hit too many times, we will have to get a safety heal. I just love seeing that guy trying to get me. He's so upset about it. Maybe next time. I'll be opening this one because I do need to do a door buffer and it's just more comfortable. This is a pretty long hallway, so being able to warp to the very end of it is pretty nice. Oh, you don't have the rings in the right order? Don't know why. It's okay. Unfortunately, we cannot skip this hallway on the way back. I just have to go through it. And we're almost done with this area. I'm just gonna pick up some of those octagonal plates we've been hoarding since the beginning of the game, pretty much. We need 6 of them, meaning our inventory is gonna be fully loaded with them. Alright, we managed to skip that. It's very nice. And again, we'll kind of just take damage intentionally there. Trying to follow a specific pathing to take a little bit less damage. That was really good, actually. I'm not even limping. I'm usually just bleeding out by the time we get out of this room. And we're gonna get to see the fake out ending. This game has a fake out ending. And when I first saw it, I thought that I actually reached an ending. And so I closed out of the game and I Googled it to see what was happening and if there was something else I could do to get a better ending. And turns out, no, it's not an ending. You can just continue playing. Except the game doesn't save, so I lost a bunch of progress when that happens to me. But yeah, the game takes you out with full credits, goes back to the title screen, which is now a little bit different and sinister. And then it actually sends us back to the first area, except now we have a little hat, which means we are on maintenance duty. And so we have to go around to check if everything is there. So those screens are there, that's good. What else? I guess we'll see if space is still there. It's pretty important for a spaceship. We need space, otherwise it's not a spaceship. And I guess we'll check out on these Oh, I was getting ahead of myself. We don't want to go there. There's nothing for us there. We'll go check on this pipes, I guess. And this, what is this? A cryogenic emergency unit, something like that. And then we can finally progress into this cutscene. And now everything's messed up, and we're messed up. We're missing an arm. But don't worry, it is but a flesh wound. Can just take another arm. Or another body entirely? I'm not sure what happened there. I don't know if we took some parts, or if we just switched body entirely. And everything is fine as we jump into this hole of blood and gore back to this beach. Something I did not mention in this first-person scenes, it's actually better to walk diagonally because you walk a little bit faster when holding 2 directional input rather than just 1. Which feels like a very retro speed strat, actually, very fitting. I guess this whole thing is supposed to evoke maybe Karen's boat, some kind of hell or purgatory place. And we're also back into this earlier area, which is all covered in red goop. Kind of reminds me of Amnesia. Towards the end of the game, when everything is just red and slimy. I guess that is the symptom of the psychological horror catching up to our character. Something like this. Who knows?
Red
It's a
goo.
combination.
Red goo. Like tomato juice.
Exactly, tomato juice, a clear symbol of psychological distress.
I hope I'm not interjecting at a bad time for messages.
Oh no.
Alright, very nice. Let's have a look here. So while we are raising money for community, we also could not run this event without volunteers. I'm helping out here. I want to thank everyone else who is helping out so far. If you're considering helping out with future Speedromizer events, if you think like, hey, this sounds pretty cool, this is like pretty fun, volunteer signups are opened long before the events even begin, and they're announced on the Discord server. So keep an eye on the server when they open up, and also, a lot of roles don't require any experience, and we'd love to have you here. So even if it's your first time volunteering, if you want to give it a try, feel free to sign up. Anyway, back to you.
Alright. Having trouble with this again? Alright, nice. I'm using the radio here, because otherwise you can't see where your character is. And we're skipping this part, because otherwise we need some kind of item to turn off the fire there. Alright, not too bad. So we are in the final area of the game, called Rot Front, and we were by this big blue mural earlier, and there's a puzzle on there we need to solve, but we need to wait for the room to be in a certain state for us to be able to solve that puzzle. And for that to happen, we're gonna have to pick up a bunch of tarot cards to advance the state of the game. I know there's a pretty scary room that's gonna happen. Hopefully it goes well. Okay, that's very nice. It's not a room that you want to mess up because it's full of enemies, and then when the enemies start moving around, Damn it, I messed up the timing on the second part of this. That's fine. Yeah, when enemies start moving around in this room and you cannot get to the position you want to be in, it's a pretty bad time. So I'm glad this is over. And now we just need to broadcast a certain signal. That's good. So this is the this is the magpie signal we want. Magpie in German is said Elster, which is the name of our character. So I guess there's a connection there. Gonna go again for that skip. See if I can make it work. So this is another example of an extended out of bound. As you can see, I'm flashing my map over and over to actually stay out of bound and skip all of that ordeal. Here's a character for you. Goodbye. I don't know who this is, but they're probably important. There's a lot to learn about this game if you want to get into the lore for this. Like it's pretty deep, as I've heard. Okay, flashing visual warning. I'm gonna try to do this door warp again. I guess it's not quite a door warp, but okay, well, we messed up. I messed up. You didn't do anything. That's okay, that's okay. We'll make it through. Alright. Sorry about that. Just need to get rid of all these items because our inventory is gonna get quite crowded there. There's gonna be another flashing room coming up, so warning. Flashing again. Don't get stuck on anything, please. Alright. Know how this guy missed us, but he did. That's very nice. And here's why we needed this specific frequency to open this little box. And warning again, it's going to be a couple seconds of flashing. I just ran into them, didn't I? And yet another warning. This part is very busy with all those flashing rooms. I'm going to try to stay out of bound for the entirety of this. Alright. Picking up more ammo for our guns. I don't think I talked about it, but we picked up our weapon of choice. Oh, sorry, I think I'm getting pinged. What's happening? Nope, okay. Oop. Sorry about that. I'm stuck into something. Okay. I thought I was getting pinged on Discord. I don't know what happened. Combine these two items so we can reveal that photograph, pick up that card. We only have one card to pick up now. and then we're gonna be soon tackling the last boss, and hopefully it goes well, because it's a pretty inconsistent fight, to say the least. So we just hope the boss is gonna behave. And for now, we just need to pick up that final tarot card. How are we doing on time, by the way?
I am a little bit on a delay because we had a game restart, but currently we're at about 49 minutes.
Okay, well, we might be able to barely get underestimate. Now that we've picked up that ring, we can interact with this and progress to the final boss. Final boss fight could be over in a minute, or it could just be really bad, and I might run out of ammo. Picking up some healing items just in case. We're gonna get our weapon, equip that weapon, and then we're gonna have to do a no, let's try to do this door warp right there. Pretty specific door warp. We have to have an item interaction, like an item confirmation box for it to work. And here's the final boss. Remember that guy from earlier? So we need to plant 6 spears into this boss. But you can try and have... Oh my god, that was unlucky. Okay. You can try and get 2 of those spears at once, but the boss just got into this very specific spot, which means it wasn't quite possible. I'm gonna pick up more ammo. It's pretty unlucky. Oh, we can't even... Alright. Come on. Alright. That is not a good position. Oh. Alright. That's why this boss is pretty random sometimes. Let's try to pick up more ammo. I don't think we're gonna be able to get the double on him there. Nope, okay. That's okay. So it's possible to get 2 spears at once in one phase, but we just got pretty unlucky placement and positioning by the boss. Alright, we still got it. We have just a little bit to go and the game will be over. So that was not a very good boss fight, but that was not a complete fiasco, which is all I can ask, honestly. And time is gonna be coming up pretty soon as I skip this credits and time. I guess the current time is not the actual time because I was playing on a safety save files, so but here we are.
GG's.
Alright, so that was SIGNALIS, everybody, and very happy to have been able to be a part of this event. That was my first time participating in a speedrunning event or any kind of event like this. It's just been very fun just to learn a random game like that, and I would have never played SIGNALIS otherwise. Not really my type of game, but it was still pretty cool to discover it and discover all the speedrun strats for it. Really happy I was able to showcase it without too much trouble.
All right. Would you like to do any shoutouts before we go?
Well, I guess I'll be coming back on Sunday for the Incredible Mendy race. Not quite sure right now if it's going to be a race between me and Creepium or if I'm just going to be commentating, but nonetheless, I'm sure most people have not heard of Incredible Mendy because it's not a well-known game at all, but give it a chance. Come check it out. It's a pretty interesting 3D platformer with some cool glitches and skips that I'll be trying to explain to my best. So see you there, I guess.
All right. Thank you so much, Nupali, for that very cool SIGNALIS run. That was really cool. That is also a game I still need to play. Before we head into an intermission to set up for the next game, which is going to be Klonoa, I have a donation to read out, which is $5 from Mazer, which also went to a bid for the any % bonus run. Let me take a quick look. That is the any % bonus run of Quest for Glory 5. Anyway, that donation reads, SIGNALIS, go fast, jump in the hole, find wife, less than free. Thank you for the run, and yes, thank you very much again. We're gonna go into a quick intermission to set up for the next run, and we'll be back with Klonoa.
Yeah.
I'm halfway out, just trying to lose you now. Yeah, it was an illusion now. Yeah, I just wanna see you out. So give it up, leaving all your texts on red with the games you left now. Give it up, you're sick of all the things you said getting in my head now. So I don't wanna know, I don't wanna know where you go. I don't wanna know. Yeah, it was an illusion now. You're leaving all the doors like that. Yeah, I don't wanna know. Yeah, I don't wanna know. Shots with a broken spleen, yeah. I'm blessed with the mess you leave, yeah. It's hard to stop in me, yeah. So I don't wanna know all the things that you left in my brain. So I know love again, yeah. I only put it away, now you run back in my face, yeah. I'm done with all that you can say, yeah. So leave me alone, 'cause I don't wanna know. I don't wanna know where you go. I don't wanna know. Yeah, it was an illusion now. You're leaving all the doors like that. Yeah, I don't wanna know. Yeah, I don't wanna know.
Hello there. I hope you're all having a blast at Speedromizer 9 so far. I'm definitely enjoying it, and it's only the first day. So, we still have several runs coming up, including the next one which we're setting up for Klonoa. It'll be ready soon. Klonoa 2 is going to be pretty cool. Duck Life 2 still has an incentive open for a cosplay. It'll be a yellow chick cosplay, and if you know me, I do like outfits. I like silly outfits. But besides that, we have tomorrow, we have Untitled Goose Game, very similar to a chicken, I guess. That incentive has already been met, and look forward to it, because I'm gonna make a picnic. And again, this is only the first day. There are so many cool runs this event. Anyway, I will be back very shortly to announce the next run.